a little bit more scared, but it is going to be a Raging Bolt.
You've not nothing to give away. You not see something surfing in the top right corner there,
No,
Ross?
the Gholdengo was obvious. I'm saying the other one.
Oh,
don't get me wrong. You see Professor Sarda's Vitality.
Sorry, my bad.
Seems to be right. And here we go. We got Raging Bolt. And Tommy, if you've heard this one before, we got a Monkey Dory on the right. I think we might see a few more Monkey Dory as we go through. So we see a Nest Ball coming down for Adiris here, searching out that first basic Pokemon. And while they do that, why don't you give us a quick rundown of this Raging Bolt deck?
Absolutely. We do have a little key features there as well. But just to run it through, they're going to be looking to utilize the Teal Mask Ogerpon EX again for draw power. But more importantly, is get energies on their board state, because Raging Bolt EX's attack, Bellowing Thunder, does 70 times the number of energies discarded from all of your Pokemon against your opponent's active Pokemon. So you are hitting for massive numbers, and that's why exactly you're being able to maybe target down some of those big bulky EXs, which often want to try and soak up hits. It utilizes some support Pokemon that we do see just there from that Nest Ball grab, that Fan Rotom ability, Fan Call, which allows you to grab 3 colorless Pokemon under the HP of 100, so you can grab your Hoot-Hoots, you can grab your Noctowls, so that you can utilize Jewel Seeker as soon as possible and really get the game ebb and flowing. And that's one of the key things that you're going to be looking out for, everyone, as Adiris is playing out their turn here.
I was going to say, don't forget about Ditto, but out comes Ditto here as well. We got a Ditto and a pair of Hoot-Hoot. And this is one of the big changes we've seen to Raging Bolt over the past few months, is the fact that we now see a pretty heavy engine of Noctowl. Gone are the days where we relied entirely on Teal Mask Ogerpon to draw a whole bunch of cards with its Teal Mask ability. Nowadays, it is Noctowl consistency. And right now, there's no bench space. There's no bench space available for a Teal Mask Ogerpon. But maybe we can use a Ditto. Maybe we can use Transformative Start and swap it into another basic Pokemon. And now we do have space for the Teal Mask Ogerpon.
Absolutely. You don't want to have that Ditto in your deck because, again, you can only use that ability. As Ross has said, you're never going to want to attack with it. You don't want to use block. You just want to use that Transformative Start to get a Pokemon in, and this is where you activate your whole board so that those Noctowls, Jewel Seekers will be available. But Ross, we have Yari on the right-hand side, piloting that Gholdengo deck, doing their first deck search with that Arven. Go straight into it, my friend.
So what we got with Gholdengo here is 2 very nice things. Firstly, we got a coin bonus. You get to draw a card per Gholdengo per turn, although it's an extra if it's in the active. And then Make It Rain for just a single energy lets you discard as much energy as you like from your hand, as much basic energy as you like, and you deal 50 damage for each card discarded in this way. So essentially unlimited damage output. What you're really looking for here is the ability to one-hit KO anything, but we're playing it here with a thin Dragapult line, a 2-2-1 Dragapult line. Dragcloak gives you a bit of extra consistency, and then Dragapult gives you an option for good attacks as well. But for now, it just seems like we got a Monkey Door in the active. We grabbed a couple of Gimmighoul off of the Buddy Poffin, and then TM Evolution will evolve both of them straight up into that Gholdengo, which means 2 coin bonuses next turn.
2 coin bonuses, 2 big, pretty hard, not the easiest to knock out EXs on the bench, which is obviously important because Adiris will have to try and maybe stretch over, maybe take 2 prizes, and this is where Yari can utilize that single prizer in the active to offset the prize race of what you get from 2 big heavy hitters, as we do get the activation of that first Jewel Seeker from that Noctowl, because that Teal Mask Ogerpon EX is in play, can allow you to grab any 2 trainer cards as you'd like. Adiris will be looking for things like that Area Zero's under depth to kind of build out the board a bit further, maybe weave in a single prizer into the active spot at some stage as well, just so that they may be able to also offset that prize race. It's going to be a really interesting one, folks, just how they're going to be able to navigate maybe either those sort of 2-2-2 prize mappings or having to weave in the additional 7th prizer somewhere.
You really don't want to KO that Monkey Dory. Monkey Dory's in the active very deliberately. If you're Adiris here, your goal is very simple. I want to KO 3 EX Pokemon with big attacks and Raging Bolt, and that's going to be the game. So Yari here, first job, make sure there is a single prize Pokemon in the active. Now there is 1 Boss's Orders and 1 Prime Catcher that Adiris has here, and essentially this gives them 2 opportunities to try and gust up one of those Gholdengo. The best case scenario this turn is Prime Catcher up a Gholdengo, get a KO with Raging Bolt on turn 2, having gone first. It's not an easy thing to pull off, but that would be the dream scenario here.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a tall order, especially when you're having to still try and get energy. This is the first Teal dance that we see as it's drawing into another energy there, and there's only 1 on the board at the moment. You know, Professor Sarda's Vitality can only really accelerate 2 energy attachment, 2 energy cards, I should say, from the discard pile, as we do see the Ultra Ball, 1 of those lightning energies going to the discard pile there, alongside that Jamming Tower. Could have been really useful, able to get it down on that first turn, maybe even stopping that Technical Machine evolution, and that maybe it was a bit of a missed opportunity there. I wasn't too sure unless it was drawn on this turn, but hey-ho, here's the Noctowl with the second Jewel Seeker. That does mean no access to any further Hoot-Hoots or further turns at the moment until another Hoot-Hoot is benched with that Area Zero's under desk. But it's eyeing up, Ross, that Prime Catcher.
And Professor Sarda's Vitality, those are the 2 cards. Now, free energy won't do it, we will need 4. But remember, the attachment for the turn hasn't happened yet. The attachment onto the Teal Mask Ogerpon was an ability, and Professor Sarda will also be, you know, your supporter, so you can attach for the turn. That will give you enough energy. Now, there's no Prime Catcher yet, because we had to go Area Zero under depths. That doesn't mean Prime Catcher isn't coming out, but it means it is a lot less likely that it is coming out.
Yeah, it has to be drawn into here, as we do see the Nest Ball being played. Now can expand your bench space, something that we don't often get until we got the release of Area Zero under depths here, in combination with a Terra Pokemon to build out the board to 8 bench spots, as a Teal Mask Ogerpon is being eyed up here, maybe trying to utilize another Teal Dance, or weave in another Teal Dance, I should say, before we get to Professor Sarda's Vitality, because we still need to get 2 energies on that Raging Bolt EX on the bench there, because, you know, you do need a 1 lightning and 1 fighting to be able to do so.
You absolutely do. There's our second Teal Dance, so there is an energy there. I think it was a Pal Pad. It wasn't anything particularly important. Now, here we see Professor Sarda. That's only for 1 energy, but you draw 3 cards here. Boss's Orders, but you've already played a supporter. That's not going to do it right now. We still need another energy attachment for the turn. Now, there's a Mew. If you can get below 3 cards in hand, you can draw.
I think it's just a decision to go into the fan rotom, a free retreat with Latias's Skyliner ability here, and a pass over. So oh. Just double checking both players, just making sure the board state does not get lost here, as Yari does get to kick things off on his second turn now, already having 2 of those Gholdengo EXs, raring to go, starts maybe coin bonusing, and then making it rain where possible. Was holding that counter catcher, can't be utilized because nothing was taken, or no prize was taken, so maneuvering into that single prizer, pretty important from Adiris there.
Now here's a great card we see in this Gholdengo deck. Cypher Maniac's Code Breaking. Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful, but what it lets you do is grab any 2 cards from your deck, and then you basically shuffle your deck and leave the 2 chosen cards on top. Now if you've got a built-in draw engine like this coin bonus, there's no I'll get to them. No, you are going to draw them. So basically now, instead of those 2 coin bonuses being random cards that could be anything, they will guaranteed be the 2 perfect cards, one of which is that A-Spec, that Energy Search Pro. The other one I'm afraid I didn't see, but I'm sure we'll see it in a second. And it basically lets you stack your deck so you get the perfect 2 draws off a coin bonus. And it was a Buddy Buddy Poffin and an Energy Search Pro. And yeah, do make sure you use them both before you play Buddy Buddy Poffin. That would be bad. Yeah,
there we go. We do see the Buddy Buddy Poffin now, because that obviously would have shaken things up in that deck around. But for the moment, this is working pretty nicely. Is there a way to try and target down a 2 prize, or will it be just something that's, you know, just trying to weave in that Monkey Dory with something else here, as we do see another Gimmighoul being targeted from that Buddy Buddy Poffin. Now it's just kind of seeing what else Yari could do. Maybe bring out one of those extra support Pokemon, maybe get a Dracloak going as well at some stage. There it is, there's a Dreepy with that wonderful little, is that the Master Ball version? Oh, I can't quite tell right now with the little gloss, but it's always fun to see that different type of reverse hollows. But anyway, Buddy Buddy Poffin, and obviously the important cards, Energy Search Pro still in hand.
I think it's a Master Ball. I know it's not terribly important, but I think it's a Master Ball.
I made Ross go down that hole. He has to find out.
I have to know. What's way more important, I'm looking at the deck list. I'm not seeing any way to go after the bench, and we don't. We just see a pass with Monkey Dory in the active. There's Boss's Orders, but you'd already played a supporter. Counter Catcher, but you weren't behind on prizes. So now we actually do see that Power Pad. This was a draw off, I believe, the Teal Dad's last turn, yeah. But it just gets 2 Professor Sada's Vitality back. The most important supporter in the deck. Having 2 more of them in your deck available to use seems like a win. And now we've got a full bench of 8 Pokemon for Adiris, but importantly, couple of Teal Mask Ogopon, couple of Raging Bolt. You've got your Latias for free retreat, your Mew as a draw engine, and then the free colorless Pokemon. I'll be perfectly honest with you, they ain't doing much right now. They've done their job.
Yeah, definitely not, especially when, you know, maybe Adiris was looking to keep that open spot for maybe another Hoot-Hoot, but in the end has to go, but does have Prime Catcher in hand. Must have top decked it in the last turn, as we do only have 1 card in hand now. Can Mew for 2 further cards.
Energy. There's an energy.
It's the wrong one.
It's the wrong one. You don't just need an energy, you need it to be specifically a fighting energy for Raging Bolt. That's important. The rest of the energy is irrelevant, but Raging Bolt needs a lightning and a fighting, and we don't have a fighting right now. Oh, and you've used your Prime Catcher as well, and you had to use Prime Catcher first because that gave you an extra draw off of the Mew. But as now it looks like we are just passing over. Was there an argument to maybe attack with Fan Rotom? 70 damage isn't terrible. Either way, Energy Search Pro, we've seen the A-Spec for Adiris not coming through, but the A-Spec for Yari here is going to go and get a lot. You can get as many basic energy as you like, on the condition that they're all different types.
Yeah, exactly that, and it's going to be really important here, because that's how you really expand and being able to make it rain, because of course it's discarding from your hands, whilst Raging Bolt is discarding from the board state. Make it rain is discarding from your hand. One of the important things, just kind of thinking about, or trying to think about some of the plays, maybe could have attacked with a Fan Rotom, but it wouldn't have changed too much, because that Monkey Dory is waiting there to send damage counters back, and then still would have kept that Gholdengo needing or requiring 4 energies to get it knocked out. So it's pretty heads up here, just to kind of keep a single prizer in the active. Has forced Yari now to have that Gholdengo. Does get the extra bonus of additional cards in the draw.
Did I just see it come off the top?
I think it did. I think there was a nice shiny Lysandra. Boss's Orders in hand, I think.
I think I saw the Lysandra. Yes, there we go. This is huge. You don't want to carry the Fan Rotom. It is a waste of making it rain. You want to go after presumably one of the Raging Bolt that's got energy on, ready to go. 5 energy discarded. Or the Latias, I don't mind this at all, because now you can go after the thing that's giving you free retreat. Tool Jamming Tower comes down. To be honest with you, this is actually a really easy choice, because you've got 3 Pokemon that are doing nothing, but it's still good for turning off tools.
But now I'm going to leave all my board of just 2 prizes for Yari to maybe try and target down at some stage. But here it is, Make It Rain. First Make It Rain of this tournament, taking a massive knockout on the Latias EX, taking Yari down to 4 prizes remaining. Adiris, it's on you to respond.
And that is what we see here, and these are 2 decks that like taking big KOs. Both Raging Bolt and Gholdengo have the ability to just get enough energy either in hand or on the board, discard it all, big KOs. Taking the first 2 prize KO is absolutely huge, and now it is a question of momentum. If Yari can keep up these 2 prize KOs, they're probably going to win the game, but here we see a Boss's Orders onto the bench Gholdengo. That's a very bad sign.
Yeah, not good at all. Is a Boss's Orders just trying to slow the game down, because maybe knowing Yari has to get another Metal Energy.
Oh, and I think that is the game. We do see Adiris saying, there's nothing I can do here. You took the first 2 prizes. That was too much. Let's go to game 2. I am too far behind, and it is as simple as that. In this matchup, if your opponent takes a 2 prize KO and you can't respond, that is probably going to be the game.
Yeah, despite Jewel Seekering for 4 trainer cards on that second turn, wasn't really able to combo those pieces to try and take down a Gholdengo, and had to give up so much, as we do get a chance to replay it here. That Monkey Dory's just being able to sat in the active position, protecting those Gholdengo EXs, utilizing Technical Machine Evolution, and just not being able to be maneuvered out of the way. And this was the turn where Adiris just couldn't find the energies and the gusting power to take down a Gholdengo. But then Yari, after getting also set up. Remember, Raging Bolt EX doesn't play too many disruption cards. This Prime Catcher just wasn't enough with that Mew's ability to draw 2 more cards. It just wasn't there.
Had an energy been drawn, a fighting energy been drawn there, it would have been a very different game, but it wasn't. So then Boss's Orders brings up the Latias. What was KO'd here honestly wasn't terribly relevant, but it was just taking those first 2 prizes, and then after that forcing Adiris to respond. They couldn't respond, and that meant that Yari takes game 1, and we are over to game 2. The good news is, this kind of matchup, I feel like we're going to have plenty of time for games 2 and 3.
Yeah, I'd love to see maybe Adiris' board state just kind of develop a little bit better in terms of utilizing some more single prizes, because that's one of the good things about Raging Bolt EX now, is that you can build your board state where it's really difficult for your opponents to actually take 2 prizes. As we do see both our players beginning to set up here, you know, it's going to be one of those decisions again, because both players, well, actually probably would like to go second, usually.
Yep.
You know, Yari being able to utilize that technical machine evolution. Adiris would like to sometimes take a big knockout, but more often than not, maybe it's just kind of setting up the board. It's fine to use things like the Ditto's transformative start, things like the Fan Rotom, just get the board built up, ready for future turns. Yeah, it's really interesting to try and work out how this is actually going to pan out.
It absolutely is, and you're right, you know, there are some single prizes in this Raging Bolt deck, like Raging Bolt, that you can use to try and sort out the prize map a little bit. No real attack. What have I said?
I was going to say, it's really interesting if a Raging Bolt deck didn't have a Raging Bolt, but I know you meant the little one.
I meant the single prize Raging Bolt. I said Raging Bolt, not Raging Bolt yet. Boom, they've got different names. I was right all along. But that's something you can use to try and kind of take the prize map in a slightly different direction. As for the Gholdengo, there isn't really that option. The only other legitimate attacker you've got in the deck is Dragapult, which is, again, you know, lots of damage to the active. So game 1, we saw classically what we would expect. Setting up these big EX Pokemon to do big attacks, and when one player couldn't respond to a 2-prize KO, that was it. That was the game.
Yeah, I do feel like Gholdengo has an easier time, because more often than not, it will be starting a single prizer. There's a lot less of them. It's only Pheasantipity EX that could be started as a 2-prizer, which means that you can kind of, again, keep yourself a single prize board state until you're ready to evolve up. Use that things like Technical Machine Evolution. It looks like a Gimmighoul is going to be in the active position there. We're going to get confirmation of exactly who's kicking us off. But this is game 2 now. These are the prizes for both our players. Nothing too crazy here again.
No, there's a Rotom in there, but there's a second Rotom in the deck. Here we go. We got Raging Bolt on the left. We got Gimmighoul on the right. And here we go with that turn 1 Nest Ball, which, let's face it, it's going to be for Fan Rotom. I learned the hard way at a Stellar Crown pre-release that Fan Rotom can only be used on your first turn.
No, you didn't. Ross.
I did. Not only did I made a conscious decision. I went, you know what? I don't need it this turn, but next turn, I'm going to really need it. I'm going to wait a turn. Next turn came and I had a look and I went, oh, really should have read this card a little more thoroughly. Will say I still went 3-0 and won that pre-release, so I'm going to give myself a little bit of slack. Now here we go, and I just want to give some love here to the Ditto. The Ditto is such a cool inclusion in this deck. You need to be able to get it into the active. Like Fan Rotom, it's only on turn 1. But if you can get it into the active, it essentially lets you search for 2 colorless and any third Pokemon. Now the fact that we went for 2 Hoo-Hoo and a Noctowl kind of tells me Adiris cannot get that Raging Bolt out the active.
Yeah, there we go. Here we have the Ultra Ball now as well. Won't be sort of threatened by any attacker on this first turn from Yari's side, so it'll be very interesting to see which direction we go here. Maybe Ditto is around somewhere to be able to pick up, because then you want to get out of the deck where possible, and then you can try and get and weave in another Latias. Maybe it was possible with that Ultra Ball, but, you know, to get Jewel Seeker live and going, you do need a Terra Pokemon on your board. So identifying that Teal Master Pokemon being so important here to make sure there's that level of consistency involved. I'm sure Adiris would be looking to try and keep hold of a Hoo-Hoo on the bench for future turns, and maybe not having to utilize both of them in one turn, just so that they can continue their sort of consistency throughout. As a Teal Dance here, we do get to see with some additional cards. You draw 1. It's a Area 0 Underdesk, I believe, that was picked up there. There's another Ultra Ball as well, so maybe it was just, I could have gone for Ditto, but there's so many important pieces that I might have to consider discarding, just like that Professor Sala's Vitality and that Area 0 Underdesk.
Oh, that is not ideal, but here we see that single prize Raging Bolt. Now, if you can get a Ditto, you've got to get it in the active, remember, so that's my theory here, is that the Ditto just couldn't get into the active, which is honestly very sad. Single prize Raging Bolt, we didn't see it back in game 1. You got 2 options. Either for free energy, you do 130, great against single prize Pokemon, or for a minimum 2, you do 30 to one of your opponent's Pokemon for each energy attached to this Pokemon. And it does not have to be the active, so free energy on here can take out a lot of those bench-sitting Pokemon, either support or evolving Pokemon. That's something to watch out for. For now, we're back over to Yari, and oh look, Buddy Puffin.
Yeah, I think there were 2 in hand, and I think I also caught a glimpse of a Technical Machine Evolution as well. So long as there was an energy, I mean, so long as I'm correct and that's what I've actually seen, we might see again another very quick explosive turn. There's energy, and I think there is a Technical Machine Evolution. We're going to see a couple of additional draw and consistency Pokemon hit the field at the end of this turn, Ross, or yeah, at the end of this turn after the attack.
We absolutely are. Keep an eye out as well. We didn't see Dragapult back in game 1, but if we're going to see things like Fan Rotom and Hoo-Hoo sitting on the bench, there is an opportunity here as we see a second Buddy Puffin being played. There is an opportunity to weave in Dragapult's attacks to try and go after some of those bench Pokemon. So that's something I'm looking out for. For now, we got us out, especially when you got Monkey Dory to play with as well. For now, it is TM Evolution, and we're actually going up into 2 Dracloak. Now, we got 3 Gimmighoul there and 2 Dracloak. And what I love about this, you can evolve Gimmighoul into Gholdengo next turn. Now you can evolve Dracloak into your Dragapult, and even if one gets KO'd, there's still another one there. This opens up maximum options for Yari next turn, which is awesome, and let's not forget, every single Pokemon on that board is a single prize Pokemon, which means Adiris, they can get an attack this turn, they ain't taking 2 prizes.
Yeah, fantastic spot there, Ross. I mean, it's such an incredible way to kind of just get this board state and know that, well, you're going to have to try and utilize and weave in that Raging Bolt, little Raging Bolt, non-EX Raging Bolt, whichever term you'd like to use, into the active spot, and maybe start swinging away with that. But then you're giving me access, if you do take a prize, to my counter catcher. You're giving me the opportunity to try and find a way to maybe target down one of your 2 prizes that I know you are sitting on your bench, and there's no way for you to get rid of. As we do see a Crispin come down, one of those other energy acceleration cards, you get to search your deck for 2 energies of 2 different types. The first one has to be put into your hand, and if you can do that, you can attach the other to your one of your Pokemon.
And I like this, because now you can do 90 to the bench. Everything on the bench has 90 or less. So I like this. What you're doing is stranding, you're trying at least, stranding a Dragapult in the active, because that's the thing you least want to be active, taking out the other Dragapult on the bench to take away that recon directive, and then saying to Gary, you know what, you want to get a Gholdengo, can you actually make it work?
Yeah, and that's exactly why it's so important, Ross, because there's only few ways of actually switching out from the active spot. Usually it's going to be an energy attachment to retreat, which means then you cannot get a metal energy onto one of your Gimmighauls and obviously eventually your Gholdengo EXs to actually fire off an attack, or I'm going to make you spend your switch and get that out of your deck, and knowing that I can continue maybe trying to weave around your attackers and just keep firing off small little knockouts and force you to have to take out this Raging Bolt, or Little Raging Bolt, I should say.
There's only one switch in the deck. You wouldn't expect more than one in the vast majority of these lists, so that is going to be a hard thing to find. Cyphermaniac's code breaking. Now, here's what's really heartbreaking here, because essentially you search for 2 cards with Cyphermaniac's code breaking, but you only get one of them with Dragapult. It is going to be a TM Evolution, and this is not what Yari really wants here. You're 1 prize down, and you're just using TM Evolution for a second turn to evolve a couple of Gholdengo. This is not what turn 2 is supposed to look like.
And it's not too great to have that grass energy sort of expended on a Gholdengo right now as well, because remember, you have to discard from your hand to take knockouts. You have to discard that lightning energy that needs to go into the discard pile to be able to get access to that once again back. But this Raging Bolt, I mean, it could take down the other Gimmighauls and just leave that lightning energy attached to that Dracloak, because again, it can't be utilized for Phantom Dive either. So right now, pretty good, interesting plays, and it's just going to be interesting. Oh, it's taking down the support Pokemon, just limiting the draw, and Adairis will go down to 4 prizes.
And there were 2 really good arguments there. One was take out the Gimmighauls because you don't have the right energy on Dracloak. The other argument was take out the Dracloak because it's got Recon Directive and could evolve in the future. They were both good options. Right now, we see that single prize Raging Bolt taking out both the Dracloak. And yeah, there's a double coin bonus, and there's another coin bonus from the Gholdengo on the bench. But what are we just drawn into? It's a superior energy retrieval.
And a big pickup, that counter catcher. So alongside this Arbin, for that Energy Search Pro, where you can get multiple of your basic energies from your deck out of different types, as Ross has already alluded to earlier, and allows you to get that metal energy for that attack as well. But that counter catcher is live and in hand waiting after one of those coin bonuses, and that's going to be one way Yari can bring back this prize race. It does leave that Raging Bolt with 3 energy still on it, but then you can start targeting down those 2 prizes, which is what your ideal scenario is going to be.
Yeah, we'd love to see an evolution of that Gimmighauls to take that option off the board for Raging Bolt. The reason I pointed out, I was getting a little bit ahead of myself, but that superior energy retrieval, in addition to that, the Energy Search Pro, basically says, I've got the energy this turn, Energy Search Pro, and next turn with that superior energy retrieval. Having both of those is absolutely huge. It means we're starting to stream attacks. You've got 2 Gholdengo already ready to go, and we just need that Gimmighauls on the bench to evolve. Here we see the lone Teal Mask Ogerpon being dragged into the active. This is huge, because remember, that is the only Terra Pokemon on the field, which means there's going to be no knockdown next turn, and there's going to be no Area 0 under that unless another one comes down.
It's also simpler to knock out as well. Only 3 needing to be discarded. Oh, sorry, it's Make It Rain. It's actually 4. Still exactly the same
4. Scenario.
Yeah, I was weirdly thinking about Raging Bolt EX's attacks for a moment, but there it is. It's 5 because it's got that little extra 10 HP as well.
It's 10, isn't it?
Over,
Correct, yes.
Which is making it rain onto that Teal Mask Ogerpon, leveling up this game 2 here. Raging Bolt in the active spot. I do wonder maybe if sometimes taking out a Raging Bolt would have been better, because you get rid of 1 energy. As we do see another Teal Mask come down, that Raging Bolt now only needs 1 energy plus, actually only really needs 1 energy attachment, and we can take a return KO here.
We can. It's a really awkward one. I think if a return Teal Mask Ogerpon doesn't come down, then taking out the Teal Mask, shutting out things like knockdown, absolutely the correct call. If another one does come down as it did, then it makes you think, oh, I kind of wish I'd gone after the Raging Bolt. As with a lot of these, it comes down to what's in your opponent's hand, and you never really know, and that's a little bit sad.
That catch-22 scenario where I wish I did this, or I wish I did it a different way, but sometimes it can haunt you. But right now, like I said, it's on Adairis to take massive advantage here. Needs to find that fighting energy to take a massive KO and put themselves down to 2 prizes remaining.
That's the goal here, because now there is a Gimmighauls, and the Gimmighauls very easily KO'd by the single prize Raging Bolt. It doesn't really do much for you here. It doesn't really hurt Yari that much, and it doesn't really help your prize map. So the 2 single prize KOs at the start were big. We're beyond that now, but here comes a second knockdown, and now we're going to search for any 2 trainer cards. So whatever you needed, you've got it. With no supporter played, might I suggest... Oh, I was going to say Professor Starter's Vitality, but I wouldn't say no to a cheeky Crispin.
Yeah, I think there was a double check. That was only a grass in the discard pile for the moment. So Crispin is the supporter of choice here. As mentioned, able to grab 2 of different type of energies from the deck. The first one has to be put into hand. If you do so, then the second one can be it will be attached to a Pokemon on your board state. Does also get the Physical EX as well. So a lot of things going well here. Was able to keep a Hoo-Hoo in reserve for a second Jewel Seeker ability for turns like this to be able to take full advantage of knocking out big 2 prizes.
That's something you called out right at the start of game 2. It wasn't something Adairis was able to do back in game 1, and it hurt them as we got to the mid-game, whereas here, being able to save 1 for this turn has led to this guaranteed KO. We're going to get a big KO on Gholdengo, and now, you know, we're back like we were in game 1, but we switched it around. Adairis took the first 2 prizes, then Yari responded. Now Adairis is responding. And even if Yari responds, if Adairis KOs next turn, that's the game.
Yep.
Yari cannot win the game next turn. If Adairis got a KO on their next turn, that is it. That is a game sewn up at this point. We're not there yet, though, so we'll just search out a couple of energy and see where we can go in a moment.
Yep, and there's still plenty of time on the clock. I know Joe called out, or I think it was Reese Williams as one of our head judges called out 3 Fs a moment ago for the judges. I mean, this is fast, frantic, and fantastic here, where we're likely to going to see a 3 games, if Adiris is able to pull this off, we'll be able to get a massive knockout here. Then it'll just be 2 prizes. Sets up the board for an additional hoo-hoo as well. Love to see that, just so we have future Jewel Seekers and try and weave in another attacker after this. If we do see the extra attachment there to the active Raging Bolt EX, announcement of Bellowing Thunder. How many energies there, Ross?
Is that 4 energy? 7, 14, 21, 28. That's 280 on the 260 HP Gholdengo. That is enough. And I like the way this has been left. 1 energy on the Raging Bolt EX, 1 energy on the Raging Bolt, opening up just different options just in case. So now it's over to Yari. You have got to return KO, and it's got to be on that Raging Bolt, honestly. Even if you do, it might not be enough, but this is what you've got to do to stay in this game. If you don't, your opponent is going to get a couple of... In fact, all they would need is like an energy attachment for the turn, and that would be the game. So right now, you've got to return KO. It's got to be on the Raging Bolt, and then hope that Adiris misses a beat next turn.
Yeah, we get a flip the script, having hit a Pheasant Dipsy EX from that coin bonus. Both of these decks, because they are massive attackers into 2 prizes, don't really play too many disruption cards. I mean, well, I've already mentioned Raging Bolt EX only piloting it with 1 sort of disruption card, 1 Iono, or sometimes you've seen 1 Judge. It's the same for Gholdengo EX. It's just that 1 Iono in the deck that kind of provides Gholdengo that 1 opportunity to actually disrupt your opponent's hand. You're just going to race usually against other decks. But it looks like it's going to be a boss's orders that's being eyed up here. But first, let's get that energy attachment so that we can get an attack off. A nice stretcher, so there's enough energies in hand to at least do that 200 damage. So actually doesn't have enough energy to take the knockout on the Raging Bolt EX right now. As we do see an Artisan being played. Easy choices again, Ross. The same 3 that went down last time from us 4.
We do have enough energy. There is 5. There is a KO, yeah. Any Fan Rotom or Knockdowel on the board have already served their purpose, so there's not any difficult decisions there. So we're back over to Adiris, and the deal is this. They've got a free retreating Mew in the active that could draw cards if you get below 3 in hand. There's an energy onto the Teal Mask Ogerpon, lets you draw a card. We are looking for a Raging Bolt, and we're looking for a Professor Starter's Vitality, and we're looking for another attachment because you need the Fighting and the Lightning onto Raging Bolt. The pivot option isn't an issue. Mew in the active's got free retreat. It is those 3 cards. There is an Ultra Ball, which we'll go and get now. We're getting rid of the Earthen Vessel there, which suggests they've got the energy.
They do. There's at least a couple of energies in hand there already as well. There's the knockdown from the Ultra Ball. Can grab all of the pieces you've just been describing.
There we go. There's your Professor Sarda's Vitality. We've got energy in hand. We don't actually need any other trainer cards here. I don't think they're even searching for a second one. They can attach from hand. They can play Professor Sarda's Vitality to attach the second energy. That's going to get all the energy needed onto this Raging Bolt. There's one. There's the other. Big KO with Raging Bolt. We even this up at 1 game apiece, and we've got 18 minutes left for a game 3. I'm going to get 2 big 1-hit KO decks going head to head. This is what happened. So let's go to a game 3.
Yeah, like I said, fast, frantic, and fantastic by Adiris there. Now leveling up the series, and it's going to be plenty of time for both of these players to try and take down the next game. We saw a very different game in game 2 as we get a chance to quickly recap exactly how this planned out. We did see the same fan call to get those hoo-hoos and knockouts going, but then we had the little Raging Bolt start swinging away at these single prizes, and it was something Yari couldn't deal with, because then it was just a second Technical Machine evolution as Adiris was able to take out 2 small single prizes, basically saying, I'm still taking the first 2, which is the most important factor in this matchup, and then by then, you could not keep up with me. I'm just going to be swinging away with Bellowing Thunder, taking down Gholdengo after Gholdengo, and taking all 6 of my prizes. There, as you see the second one, or the first one, I should say, go down, and we do see the Professor Starter's Vitality, and then, the writing's on the wall here, energy in hand, Professor Starter's Vitality, and it's all there for game 2.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Both games have gone exactly the same way here, which has been somebody takes the first 2 prizes, doesn't miss a 2-prize KO after their 2 prizes up, and then that is the game. Now, one important thing here is that there is 1 game 2, which means Yari gets the choice of who goes first in game 3. If you're going to have a game 3, you want to have the choice of who goes first or second. Here, like you said before, Alex, going second, having access to TM Evolution is something a lot of players do covet.
Yeah, I feel like Yari's going to try and choose to go second again as we do get a glimpse of the prizes. Double Hoot being prized could hurt. There's only 1 other available in the deck as we do kick things off. Yep, chose to go second, wants to get to Technical Machine Evolution on that first turn. First deck search here, you're going to find out that only 1 Hoo-Hoo's available, but you're going to try and hide that. Your poker face has got to be good. You're probably going to grab that Ditto if you can. You're going to grab that third Hoo-Hoo that is hiding in the deck. You're going to have to grab that Knockdown and try not to give too much away.
I mean, I feel like in game 1 you went for 2 Hoo-Hoo. In game 2 you went for 2 Hoo-Hoo. If in game 3 you go for 1 Hoo-Hoo, if I'm Yari, I'm like, hang on a second. I am not buying this one. Now, there was, of course, one thing Adiris did wonderfully in that last game was have the mid-game Hoo-Hoo. Only 1 got used early, so there is an argument here that you want to go for a Hoo-Hoo and a Knockdowel and save the others for later in the game. I still think I would be a little bit suspicious. We've gone for a second Fan Rotom here, so we can now play that and use that ability again. Can we know it's once per turn in this? So why would you go for a second one?
It's going to be Ultra Boost. It's going to be, I was going to say it's going to be Ultra Ball fodder.
I don't, yeah. So here's the thing. Look, if I know my second Hoo-Hoo is prized, I am down with getting a Rotom as Ultra Ball fodder.
Yeah, true.
But I'm just never doing that if I've got another Hoo-Hoo available. I just think this is given away to Yari that it's gone. But yeah, that's why I was confused for a second, because I'm like, hang on a second. Fan Rotom is once per turn. It's only on your first turn, and it's only once. It's once per game, really. But you want to play a couple in case 1 is prized. Because let's face it, all 3 games, Adiris has done this turn 1.
I mean, it's such a great ability. I mean, I played a deck where I had 4 Fan Rotoms, Ross.
There might be too many Fan Rotoms.
No, because it's so important to make sure you get Fan called off. As we do see the energy attachment. No Teal Dance here first. We do see the Ditto transform straight into that single prize. Raging Bolt, again, so vital. However, energy attachment expended, which is not ideal, and it's a pass over. Yari here, will you follow the same game plan? Double Body Puffin once again, but are you going to evolve up to the Gholdengo EXs so that you can swing back sooner rather than later, which is maybe at the detriment in the game 2?
Game 1, we went double Gholdengo and it worked. Game 2, we went double Dragapult and it didn't work. Got to say though, 2 games in a row, double turn 1 Buddy Puffin. How many people are watching at home going, that never happens to me? No, we got two Gholdengo.
I was going to say, he actually has a third in hand, it looks like.
Oh my word.
So, you know, having to access to all of your single prizes is actually just incredible. It's a great feeling, but that does mean that's free cards in your hand that are not free cards that may be good later in the game.
Wait, he's got a third Buddy Puffin in hand, ready to go. He is not struggling for basic Pokemon, of course. He may well want to keep a bench space for a Pheasantipity, and it is worth noting that the 4th Gimmighoul is prized. The 2nd Dreepy is prized. There's actually no other little basics left in the deck. It's just Monkey Dory and Pheasantipity. Yeah,
now he's just showcased all 3 of those Buddy Puffins. From that Arvin, grab the energy and the Tentacle Machine evolution. So we are going to be seeing 2 Gholdengo EXs at the end of this turn. Maybe get that Psychic Energy attached to that Dreepy. Kind of also threatens the Phantom Dive at a later stage if it's not knocked out. We do see the evolution. Now Gholdengo is going to be hitting the field. There's 1, 2 to the front of the deck, and that's a fantastic turn. I think this is going to be pretty good because at the same time, no energy attachment on that Raging Bolt means it can do a maximum of 60 damage snipe, and it's not enough for anything.
No, that's not going to get anything. 70 damage is where we really start doing a lot of damage. Nothing is going to be KO'd this turn. You can get some setup damage down, but you're not doing enough here, and you know, you don't really need setup damage a lot in Raging Bolt because you can just attach another energy a lot of the time. So it's a very different game to what we saw in the previous game. You've got a good board set up. You're not really at that much risk of a KO this turn. There's no Knockdown that's going to be coming down. So, well, sorry, there's this Knockdown, but this is the only one. There will be no second Knockdown.
I suppose dealing the extra 60 damage does put the Gholdengos into range for just a free energy. Bellowing Thunder at some stage as well. You know, you can start chipping away, and it still keeps your single prize in the active slot, right? And it's just that Teal Moss. You don't want to activate too much gusting power or ability for the Gholdengo players for the moment. So maybe it's okay just to utilize that Crispin and just start swinging away a little bit, chipping away at those, say, big EXs. 260 arguably is actually quite a small EX in comparison to some of the others that we've seen. But you know, this is the game plan that we have to work with at the moment. Is an Ultra Ball being played as well? Pheasantipity and Noctowl both going to the discard pile. No other access to another Hoo-Hoo, as we mentioned. Is that the only draw power we're going to have from the Mew? It's going to be the restart up to 3. Crispin being played now. Everything's happening.
This is quite nice though, because Crispin gets you an energy attach and then an energy in your hand to attach manually. You then go down to 1 card in hand, and if that's unplayable, you get 2 more for the Mew restart. So you're still drawing as much as you can. You're not going to get any more out of your Knockdown, which is a little bit sad, but to your Hoo-Hoo prize, what are you going to do about it? What you can do is get your Mew, draw some cards, and don't get me wrong, the argument you just laid out for Raging Bolt being useful here, you're absolutely right. I do not love putting 2 energy onto a Pokemon just to save an energy down the line on my big EX, but if you get to keep an energy in hand, it's not the end, you know, single prize in the active. We do still get the Teal Mask here, you know, drawing a card, attaching an energy, it's just a lightning. And then we draw 2 with Mew, Professor Sada and Prime Catcher. This turn ain't looking great. No, the next turn could be a bit spicy.
No, again, what Yari will need to do is actually retreat away from the Dreepy. You're maybe making them have to use the boss's orders, and then you're sort of activating it on your side. Yes, that does mean Yari's going to go ahead in the prizes, which is the scary thing, right? But you're keeping your single prize on the active. That's the most important. It doesn't matter which Gholdengo. There is the attack by the Raging Bolt. Thunderburst Storm, 60 damage going on. Bring it down to 200. 3 Gholdengos now staring across the board, and a Recon Directive Dracloak as well. So we're looking on the up here.
Because you really want, there's 2 cards you're really looking for here. You're looking for Boss's Orders and Energy Search Pro. You want those 2 cards to try and make sure you can take a big KO on what will probably end up being the Teal Mask Ogapon. So here we see the Artisan getting rid of that stadium.
Yep, limiting what Adiris might have access to on future turns. I think we're going to have to try and go for it here. Maybe look for that, yeah, I guess there's too many cards that it needs, and that's not one of them. There's a Dracloak ability on the second chance. There's a Superior Energy Retrieval and an Energy card. It looks like it might be another turn off unless those 2 coin bonuses still on the bench might save Yari here. That's a Buddy Puffin. That's not doing anything.
Literally not doing anything. There are no targets left in the deck for it, unfortunately. So we got an Iono, but Iono would then lock you out of Boss's Orders. You can't use Counter Catcher because you're not behind on prizes. It is an Earthen Vessel and an Energy.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing now in this scenario, now that we've got the Artisan, now that we've got Earthen Vessel, it's time to get that Monkey Dory down, potentially, and actually just start getting a Dark Energy on it. That's a potential option. Does sort of say, well, maybe there's the option where I can get a Fire Energy onto this Dracloak as well. It did just evolve this turn, so can't go into Dragapult, can't start swinging away, causing all sorts of menace. So for the moment, I would like to see the Monkey Dory down. You know, this is your one off turn where you could potentially just get Monkey Dory down with a Dark Energy on it.
And that's the thing. When we see it in Gardevoir, it's actually really easy to find that turn to attach to Darkness Energy because your Psychic's all being attached to your ability. Gholdengo, you need to attach from your hand to attack, so it's not as easy to get the energy on the Monkey Dory. Now, we do have 2 energy on that Dracloak, so it looks like we're going to be using a Dragon Headbutt for 70, and then Iono just comes down here, giving both players a new hand of 6. And I don't mind this, because essentially what you're saying to Adiris here is, deal with my Dracloak.
That's true.
You don't want to, but you kind of have to, and if you don't deal with it, it's going to become a Dragapult at some point. And if you do 70 damage to the Raging Bolt here, then that will actually bring it into range of being KO'd with a residual damage from Phantom Dive, and you're not playing something like Monkey Dory to heal it, so the 70 damage will actually be relevant here.
Yeah, super useful to keep an eye out on, you know, my Dragon Headbutt. It might be a little bit less than your Dragon Headbutt, but it's relevant here. My 70 damage could do something quite useful. And there's the announcement, Dragon Headbutt onto the opposing Raging Bolt. Let's see how Dirist is going to play out this turn. Did get a fresh 6 cards, which has been very nice to work with. Just trying to work out what actually was in her hand. It's a little bit dark, but too many shiny cards. Can't always see all of them. We do get the Nest Ball here. Again, shuffle swings up. Anything that was in the hand that went to the bottom because of the owner will be now sort of maneuvered around. We do see that Prime Catcher. I think that was just there as well. So we know it's in the deck. Can we draw into it? Can we start trying to target down one of these 2 prizes? Maybe that's softened up Gholdengo EX. This could be a pivotal turn here. If Dirist can take a 2-prize knockout, you're activating the prize race.
That is what you're looking for. Crispin, now you've used Crispin, you really are locked into having to try and find Prime Catcher to get that 2-prize fight going. You get 1 energy goes into your hand, and then 1 energy gets attached. Fun little ruling query, of course. You must get the energy into your hand, and then attach the other one. Yep. That means if you've only got 1 energy in the deck, you're actually not accelerating energy with Crispin. So if you're playing Crispin, you've got to be a little bit careful. You keep 2 energy in the deck if you want to accelerate.
Yeah, you certainly don't want to be using Crispin as an energy search.
No, you really don't.
You don't want to expend your support as an energy search. But we do get the extra attachment there from the Crispin to the Raging Bolt. So now we are dealing 90 damage. So Dirist is saying, I will deal with that Dragapult. I'm not allowing it to evolve up to a Dragapult. You are scaring me with that potential there. But for the time being, I'm just going to Teal Dance and then work out what the option is available on future turns. Because we do have the Raging Bolt EX waiting in the wings at some stage as well. Taking this prize, it's only really just trying to further your board. We do have just over 5 minutes on the clock, Ross, as well, so it's something that our players are going to have to keep an eye out on. We know both of these decks can be frantic and very, very quick at taking prizes, but you know this is where it gets really to the nitty-gritty moments.
Absolutely, and plus 3 turns actually comes in super handy in this matchup because that can really be the last couple of KOs. Now I'm looking at Yari's board and the Yari's deck list, and I'm going, right, there's Counter Catcher and 2 Boss's Orders in the deck. One of the Boss's Orders is prized. If you can Counter Catcher on this next turn when you're behind on prizes, and then Boss's Orders twice, you can just completely ignore that active Raging Bolt and just take the prizes that way with your Gholdengo. Now, actually, no Dragloak. Oh, now this opens up things very nicely. There's a potential double KO on Noctowl or Fan Rotom with Raging Bolt, for instance. We can use Monkey Dory, potentially, and then KO like a Fan Rotom and you're active and you won't even need any gusting. So Darkness Energy on Monkey Dory, move damage to Fan Rotom. That is a double KO with your Dragapult without using gusting, and he's just top-decked the Dragapult. That's super useful. So we could be seeing a double KO here, but we will need Monkey Dory moving damage.
It also needs that Boss's Orders. No, it doesn't necessarily need to move the damage. If it's just, you know, all you need to actually progress 2 prizes taken on this turn, and it's just, you know, you can just gust up one of the single prizes and use that as a knockout alongside that Raging Bolt in the active, removing those energies in play as well. Yep. There's the Dragapult EX. You don't see it too often come down in this sort of type of
there's the Darkness Energy on the Monkey Dory, so this is what we needed. You move the damage over. Yeah, got to be onto the Fan Rotom there. And now you get a double KO on Raging Bolt and Fan Rotom, and this means Yari takes the first 2 prizes. And so far, Alex, in this matchup, you take the first 2 prizes, you win.
Yep, and especially when you've got and sat behind a massive terror. Dragapult EX, it's got 320 HP. Yes, Raging Bolt can overcome that. But you're making it more difficult for your opponent, whilst I've still got this army of Gholdengo EXs on the bench waiting in the wings.
I absolutely love this. Of course, it's also relevant to note that Mew has 180 HP, so that means that Dragapult can Phantom Dive it for 2 prizes without needing a handful of energy, so it's much easier to KO Mew, and here is a damage counter onto that Teal Mask Ogopon, which now is also in range of a Phantom Dive. So right now, Yari is setting up a board where Phantom Dive can take KOs, and actually, to be fair, Gholdengo goes in multiples of 50, so that's actually, even if you KO the Teal Mask with Gholdengo, it's still 1 less energy.
Yeah, absolutely, and look at this board state now. Dirist is going to have to find some way to retaliate against this Dragapult EX. Does grab with that Night Stretcher the Pheasantipity EX, so can flip the script as well, so draw some additional cards. There's another Teal Dance being weaved in as well. There's another energy on the board, ready for big knockouts, of course.
It's just a fighting energy.
Yeah,
now.
It's just a fighting energy. I was just going to say, there's a flip script for, guaranteed your energies there with Vessel and Professor Star's Vitality. You're going to want to start setting up that board at some state. I feel like the way Dirist has to play this game now is get energy accelerated to not just 1 Raging Bolt EX, but to 2. And then also find that Iono on a future turn, so that maybe, just maybe, Yari misses a turn, and that's one way to kind of make sure you take this game. Under or just over 1 minute 30 to go here. 4 prizes left for Yari to take 6 for Dirist. We're very likely to go to time, and we're very likely to maybe try and find a win in time itself.
I agree with you entirely. Yeah, what you just said about the Raging Bolt. Use Ultra Ball to search for 1, and now we get Fighting onto 1, Lightning onto the other, so they're ready to go. And as long as this turn ends before time ends, we should see a conclusion to this game. Because now both players have 4 prizes remaining, that's 2 KOs. Both 0, we will technically be in plus 3 turns, but it shouldn't actually really matter. We should have all the turns we need. Now, that clock becomes very important. If we go to time before Adiris finishes their turn, they will only have 1 more turn and they can't take 4 prizes. The clock is your enemy. Might I suggest announcing an attack in the next 24 seconds?
I mean, there it is. Remember, got to conclude. The turn officially starts when Yari draws a card. If you are unfamiliar with some of the rules here, as 5 energies are being mentioned there. There's a massive bellowing thunder. Dragapult EX counting down. 6, 5, 4, 3. Is there a draw card? Does
2 seconds remaining, the card is drawn. We will get confirmation, but Yari should be turn 0 here. That is absolutely huge. It means both players will have the 2 turns needed to potentially take those last 2 KOs and finish out the game.
Coin bonus 1, straight into Energy Surge Pro. Incredible top deck of the coin bonus. So it's just now working out exactly how... many of those energies are the deck. It's just going to be 4. You know, it's not full value, but we've already seen plenty of them hit the field. Just needs access to superior energy retrievals to grab further energies from the discard pile. We've already seen 2 go down. There's a metal energy pointing out there from the discard pile as well. So we know there's at least 3 energies in there, so we can utilize a superior energy retrieval that's already in hand.
Oh, we got enough energy in hand, honestly. There's a like metal to attach. I saw 5 energy in hand, and there's actually like 1 million energy retrievals, so superior energy retrievals. You don't need it this turn. There are 5 energy in hand. That is sufficient. There's an argument to save it in case you, for instance, get Ionode, so that you've got more superior energy retrieval to draw into next turn. And this should be, there's a Pheasant Deputy. I adore this. Let's just draw some more cards. You don't actually need anything this turn, but let's just get yourself in the best position possible.
Yeah, so just iron up that Cypher Maniacs. Code breaking as well. Maybe just kind of setting up a future turn. That's really important here because, like I said, Adiris is going to have to look for a way to weave in an Iono just at some point just to work out exactly. And then, yeah, exactly, putting that superior energy retrieval to the top of the deck, making sure you are Iono proof on a future turn. And that's so, so, so important here. Again, iron up a second one again to just follow up at the same time. Yari really doing their best to just kind of close out this game in the 2 turns. The turn 0, which Yari is, and the turn 2 that Yari will be in this matchup.
And that is absolutely crucial. The fact that we're even on prizes, but it's their turn, and they know at this one is why they have to be careful. They know that they are in a position of, if I take a KO this turn, and if I take a KO next turn, I will be the winner of this matchup. Adiris there, genuinely just hoping that Yari misses a KO. Raging Bolt is not a big disruption deck, it is a big smashy deck. It doesn't have as many tricks to try and stop your opponent as, as a lot of other decks do, and that is to its detriment right now. Now, we are seeing a Monkey Dory Adrenabrain resolving. It's going down onto the Mew. Actually, that's kind of cool, because Mew now is down to 140 HP, which is free energy rather than 4, so that's just made it easier to get the KO with that Gholdengo. And in this matchup, Raging Bolt is counting in 7s and Yari's counting in 5s. I hope you've all been doing your times tables. You're all up to date with that, because that's how we're working out the maths here. There's 5 energy being shown. There's a KO on the Raging Bolt, and Yari is just 1 KO away from going 5-0.
Yeah, big, massive knockout here. Mew to the active spot, has that free retreat, one of the other unique things of that fantastic support Pokemon as well. But Adiris, what can you do? You can't utilize a single prizer to take a big 2-prize knockout here. It's going to have to be another big swing with a Raging Bolt EX. Can you weave in anything else that you don't play Judge? You know Yari set up the next couple of cards in that deck, on top of that deck, I should say. So we're really going to be stretching and looking for any outs as much as possible.
There's no hoot down, so you're not going to be able to just knock down and go and grab whatever trainers you want. That is unfortunately not an option right now. So that's a little bit annoying.
Maybe looking for that Bravery Charm to try and extend the Raging Bolt's HP out of a big Make It Rain if we do get an Iono off, as an example. But where can we go from this scenario? The hand's pretty big. There's a number of options. Another Teal Mask. Ogerpon here's the field. Another Teal Dance. Well, first Teal Dance of this turn. Here's Professor Zada's Vitality. Not ideal. Second Teal Dance here. Can we get it? Why is that card? It's a Nest Ball. Not ideal again. Flip the script. We're looking. We're digging.
We are digging.
The charm. So can we get an Iono and energy attachments going here?
We saw, I think it was a boss's orders we just saw there. That unfortunately is not really going to do it. Gusting is not what we're looking for here. What we really want, like you say, make it as difficult as possible for Adiris to take a KO while also taking a KO. The absolute minimum here is Adiris taking a KO. And then they need to try and stop Yari taking a return KO, so they've got the last chance. We have, you might have seen a judge just slid a little number 1 die on the board a second ago. That was confirming that Adiris is turn number 1. The question is, can they keep up with the prize race? And if they can, does it matter? Because again, if Yari takes a KO on their turn, that will be the game. Here's Professor Zada's Vitality. So this is going to get the required energy down onto the board. We've got plenty of energy here. We're drawing 3, and there's the Iono, the 3rd card. Be lovely if you could play that as well right now, but you can't.
Exactly that, Ross. You cannot. So it's just promotion of the Raging Bolt to the active. 4 energies, I should say, that are required to take the knockout here. 70 times 4, 280 damage. Knocks out a Gholdengo EX. Hand not disrupted. Perfect cards placed at the top of the deck. Plenty going for Yari. Should be pretty simple here.
And there's a superior energy retrieval. You need 6 energy. 1 needs to be a metal attached to your active Gholdengo. There's your metal plus 3 in hand. But there's another superior energy retrieval, so you get rid of 2 more. That's going to get more energy. The fist comes out from Adiris. There's your fist bump. And Yari takes it 2 games to 1 in time to go 5-0 at the Bologna Special Championships here in Italy. I mean, they must be feeling as good right now as when I got my first lasagna after landing in Italy.
Right now, you can take a breath, Ross, there. Yeah, congratulations to Yari there for winning this round 5 feature match here. Commiserations there, dearest.